Chapter 7. Description of Cosmic Spheres, the Greatness of the Biography of Sripada Srivallabha. In the morning, Tirumala Das completed his daily worship and began to narrate, "My dear Shankar Bhatt, the divine life history of Sripada Srivallabha is a divine elixir. It is unheard of, unprecedented, and undebatable. You have the good fortune of writing his biography only on account of the boundless grace of Sripada Srivallabha on you. This great fortune, which is not available even to great scholars, is granted to you. This is only his will." After he got out of death, the attractive power of Narasavardhani decreased. In the past, when he was thinking of any person in his meditation, that person would come to him however far he might be. That power was now lost. People who were afraid of him and praised him previously were now not afraid of him. When a situation arose, they would tease him with bad talk. His financial state also started deteriorating. The means of getting daily food also decreased. He came into the street wailing at his miserable condition. At that time, Bapanaria was carrying his grandson on his shoulders. The house of Bapanaria was situated at the corner of a street. Sri Charan was spending more of his time at his grandfather's house than at his own house. He was going freely to the houses of Sri Narasimhavarma and Sri Pinda Venkatapaya Sresti. Narasavardhani wanted to speak with Sripada. He wanted to hold the charming divine child in his arms and kiss him. Narasavardhani saw Sripada, who was going with Bapanaria. Srivallabha looked at Narasavardhani and smiled. That smile was very bewitching. Then Narasavardhani went to the house of Sresti for some grocery items. There, Sripada Vallabha was in the lap of Sresti. Sripada extended his looks towards Narasavardhani and smiled sweetly. Narasavardhani returned to his home with grocery items, and from there went to the house of Narasimha Varma. At that time, he saw in the house of Sri Varma that Srivallabha was sitting on the shoulders of Sri Varma. Again, Srivallabha extended a playful smile on seeing Narasavardhani. Narasavardhani saw Srivallabha in the houses of his grandfather, Sri Varma and Sri Sresti at the same time. He was in a dilemma thinking whether it was a dream or an illusion of Lord Vishnu. The people in the village were blaming him in different ways and were making fun of him. They were blaming him that he was responsible for the disappearance of the self-manifested idol of Datta in the Paragaya Kshetra. Narasavardhani was roaming in the streets like a traveler without any destination. He reached home like a madman. His wife was grief-stricken seeing her husband as a mad person. She went inside the room of worship to vent to her agony with the god. What she saw was the most wonderful sight. Sripada Srivallabha was in their worship room. There was no end to the joy of the couple. They begged Sripada to partake food with totakura curry to be prepared by them. Sripada did not agree to that. When the right time, cause and action come together, there will be a great opportunity. A wise person notices it and gets benefited. An unwise person does not notice it and will lose the opportunity. At last, Sripada agreed to dine in their house, but not in the present life. He promised them that he would be born in the holy land of Maharashtra in the next birth, under the name of Sri Narasimha Saraswati, and that he would certainly visit their house and eat food with cooked thotakura curry. With the powers of his Ganesha incarnation, which took place on a Sri Ganesh Chaturthi, another great person with the name of Gajanana would be born after some centuries, nearer to his birthplace. It may be possible to change the courses of the sun and the moon, but it would not be possible for anyone to alter the promises of Sripada. All the living creatures in the creation, including the 5 elements, have to obey his commands. In compliance with his promises, he is steadfast and truthful. Even when universes shake and aeons change, his sportive plays will still remain ever true and most modern. In that chamber of worship, Sripada gave some beneficial advice to Narasavardhani and his wife. Those sacred beneficial preachings are useful to all devotees of Datta. The following conversation took place between Narasavardhani and Srivallabha. The dialogue between Sripada Srivallabha and Narasavardhani in the Puja Mandir. The preachings of Sripada to Narasavardhani for the questions of Narasavardhani. Sripada Srivallabha replied with his preachings. Question: Who are you? Are you God? A yaksha? A magician? Reply: I am myself. I am I. I am the primordial power that is inborn in every atom in this creation made of 5 elements. From animals and birds up to the entire countless living creatures, I also reside in them in their maternal and paternal forms. I am the preceptor of this total creation. Question: Then, are you an incarnation of Lord Datta? Reply. Undoubtedly, I am Datta. As you are having a body, I also come with a body to enable you to recognize me. In fact, I am formless, attributeless. Question. Then you have no form or attributes, isn't it? Reply. To have no form is also a form. To have no qualities is also a quality. I am the base for form and no form, for attributes and non-attributes, and I am beyond them also. Question. If you are everything, why weal and woes to living beings? Reply. Myself and yourself are within you. Yourself residing within you is Jiva 3, and myself residing in you is Paramatma. As long as you entertain the notion of doership, you cannot become me. Till then, you cannot come out of pairs of opposites, like happiness and misery, sin and virtue. When the you in yourself diminishes and I in you ascends higher, then only you come closer to me. As you come closer and closer to me, your responsibility decreases. When you are under my care, you obtain happiness and well-being. Question. Some people say that Jivatma and Paramatma are different. Others are saying that Jivatma is very close to Paramatma. Some others maintain that Jiva is God. Which of them is correct? Reply. There is no loss if both of us remain separate. Beneficial fortune would accrue when your arrogance is annihilated and both of us remain in a state of duality. You remain in a state of bliss, provided you realize that everything is earned on account of my grace and that you are only an instrumental phenomenon. Liquidation of Moha 1 is liberation. Therefore, you can attain salvation even in a dual state. When you are in a very close proximity to me, I will be revealing through you. When all my powers are revealed through you, when your arrogance is destroyed, the ignorant infatuation in you decreases. In this superior non-dualistic state, you achieve bliss. This is also liberation because it is devoid of infatuation. When your ego is totally erased and your presumption of being the doer is completely burnt down, the I in you fades out and only me remains in you. So you will attain Brahmanda. Therefore, you can achieve liberation even if you are in a non-dualistic state. The state of Brahmanda is all the same, whether you are in a dualistic, 3, non-dualistic, 4, or distinguished dualistic 5 stage of spiritual progress. It cannot be captured by mind or word. It is only a matter of experience. Question. Some people who attained the position of avadutas call themselves the Supreme Brahman. Then are you an avaduta? Reply. No, I am not an avaduta. I am the superior Brahman. An avaduta experiences that everything is Brahman, but I am Brahman, and my position is that I am everything. Question. I do not understand the secret in this small difference. An avaduta who is freed from all worldly bonds merges in me and experiences the state of supreme bliss. He has no individuality, and when there is no individuality, there is no will or resolve. I am in the great resolve for this creation, and I am also in the supreme power. I am in the shape of the power of illusion called living creatures. If I order an avaduta who merged in me to take birth again, he should obey it. Mine is a form of truth, knowledge and bliss, coupled with willpower. Their form of truth, knowledge and bliss is devoid of willpower. Question. Fried seeds do not germinate, isn't it? After attaining the knowledge of Brahman himself, how is it possible to be born again? Reply. It is the nature of creation that fried seed will not sprout. However, the power and strength of the Creator lies in sprouting up fried seeds. In fact, my incarnation in the past took place to prove truth through these theories and counter-theories. Question. Lord Datta Shripada, kindly explain. Reply. My father who crossed all triads like past, future, and present, 3 states of existence, creation, continuance, and liquidation, became known as Sage Atri. My mother became well known as Anasuya because she was not having the slightest envy or hatred towards any creature or any matter. Sage Atri undertook a severe penance to visualize the Param Jyoti 1, which is the support for the Trinity and also beyond it. Mother Anasuya also did penance praying to that Param Jyoti to look at each living being and matter in the creation with ambrosial glances and shower grace on them. Living beings experience weal and woe according to the principles of karma. Therefore, Mother Anasuya prayed with the intent that the results of great sins should affect people slightly, and the results of small virtuous acts should give bountiful results. Mother had transformed strong metal pieces in the shape of chickpeas into live, eatable chickpeas by virtue of her spiritual power acquired through penance. Metal is the consciousness in complete dormant state. Trees and tree-related substances are consciousness in a partial sleep state. Animals belong to the state of complete consciousness. The evolution of man takes place in the following manner. At first, the being is born as mineral and then dies. Afterwards, the being takes birth as trees and creepers, then takes birth as animals, and finally emerges as a human being. Such a human being should cultivate discrimination, wisdom, and detachment, and awaken the divine power dormant in him, and strive to achieve liberation. Mother had proved that the properties of the evolutionary process can be changed with the grace of the Almighty. The consciousness in the form of the Trinity was in an awakened state. Therefore, she changed it into a dormant state and transformed the three Godheads into the form of infants. The powers of the three mothers became one and formed as Anaga Devi. I was born as Dattatreya and married Anaga Devi. In the incarnation of Sripada Sri Vallabha, I was born in the form of Ardhanariswara, with Anaga Devi on my left side and Dattatreya on my right side. This is a form of Lord Shiva, combining half masculine and half feminine features. You must understand that the Lord who created this magnificent creation, according to his free will, also has the strength and power to alter the principles of creation when needed. Question: Sripada, you are capable of changing the principles and nature of creation. Can you not remove my poverty? Reply: certainly I can remove your poverty, but I am postponing it to the next birth. Even in the next birth, I will grace only after you suffer poverty for a long time. Photokura is a small thing. How much attachment did you develop on that? My mother, father, or grandfather never asked anything from anyone. Being a small boy, how much food will I eat? When I wanted it, you should have given Thotakura immediately. Now, that time is over. To remove the dirt from your mind, this lifespan is not enough. Every man gets a lifespan, wealth, beauty, and fame as the fruit of his merit. As the result of sin, one gets a shortened lifespan, poverty, ugliness, and ill fame. I took out a major portion of your merit and gave you some more life. Much of your merit was expended, much sin remained. You will have to experience the poverty. As you worshipped the self-manifested Datta, I am gracing you that you will get enough food to eat twice in a day without suffering, even though you will have no wealth. Question: Sripada, scriptures enjoin that we should follow the caste system? Your grandfather decided that Vaishyas can have investiture of the holy thread under the Vedic system. Is it not wrong? Reply: your tongue should be slit, as you are finding fault with the decision of that Satya Rishiswara. Who do you think is our grandfather? He is actually Bhaskaracharya too. The couple Vishnu Datta and Susila were very sacred persons who did not know what selfishness was. I instructed the deities of time and action to make them my parents. The ancestors of Narasimha Varma were great devotees of Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. They were pious people who organized large-scale food donations during the sacrifices and rituals in Simhachalam. Even before I was born in Pithakapuram, I was planning in a systematic way. My relationship of indebtedness for those three families will not be over in one life. It will not end in one incarnation. My bountiful hand will benefit them for generations. They will live without any worry under the shade of my divine canopy. The assurance of Sripad to his devotees: as far as my matter was concerned, you could not give me even the cheap Thotakura. If you offered me meals, you could have earned merit equivalent to feeding 100,000 Brahmins. You lost that great opportunity. You should consult the scriptures when a debate arises as to what is right and what is wrong. However, when a doubt arises whether the injunctions of the scriptures are to be implemented or not, the decision of pure-hearted people is to be regarded as an injunction of the scriptures. Whatever they say is Vedic truth, and their word is acceptable to the tenets of righteousness. Even if they want to pronounce an unrighteous decree, the goddess of justice would not allow them to digress into an evil path and compel them to deliver a correct judgment. Scriptures say that it is sin to harm others. However, the battle that was fought in the presence of Lord Sri Krishna became known as a righteous battle, and the place where the battle between Kauravas and Pandavas took place had become known as Dharma Kshetra. The scriptures say that a religious ritual gives merit. However, when the Supreme Lord Shiva was not invited, the ritual performed by Daksha ultimately led to a big war. The head of Daksha got cut, and the head of a goat was fixed for him. When there is aggravation of bile, a physician would treat the patient with lemon and usiri. When a part of the body becomes gangrenous, a physician would have to cut out that part. I'm also the same. Not only gods but devils are also within me. I behave like a lunatic, a ghost, and also as a devil. Nevertheless, love towards all living beings would be overflowing within me. My conduct would be in tune with your nature, the good and bad results of your actions. I will not leave the hands of devotees who rendered total surrender to me. I will drag my devotees residing in distant lands, even forcibly, to my residence. 3. You should not discuss the origin of sages and rivers. Has not the supreme power, 4, taken birth as Kanyaka Parameshwari in the Vaishya caste? There are accomplished siddhas in Vaishya sages, not only for Brahmin, Kshatriya, and Vaishya castes, but low-caste Shudras also are eligible for Vedic Upanayanam if they observe spiritual discipline and regulations. The third eye should open up on the performance of Upanayanam. The inner consciousness should get purified, and the mind should concentrate on the knowledge of the Supreme. Your mind is completely absorbed in the knowledge of vegetables. Do you think that Brahmin is a commodity to be procured in the market? A Brahmin in this life may be born as a pariah in the next birth, and a pariah in this birth may be born as a Brahmin in the next birth. Please note that the Supreme Brahmin transcends time and space, caste and religion. God likes inner feelings and not external appearances. God works according to your feeling. When matters relating to the knowledge of Brahmin come up, I am a Brahmin. When holding court, inquiring about the welfare of devotees and granting them favors, I am a Kshatriya. For every living being, a wage would be fixed according to his actions of virtue or sin. The wages of every person are with me. When I weigh and measure for calculating what is due to every individual, I am a Vaishya. As I serve people by attracting unto my body the troubles and pains of my devotees, I am a Shudra. When I wash out the sins of living creatures, I am a washerman. When I burn the dead ashes and grant them noble births, I am a keeper of burial ground. Now, decide and tell me to which caste I belong. Question. Sripada, excuse me. I am an ignorant one. You are Lord Datta himself. You are the sole refuge for all living creatures. You kindly explain to me how creation is formed. The description of several worlds. Reply. Grandpapa, there are 88,000 sages in heaven who are householders. They have the potential to take rebirth. They stand as seeds for propagating Dharma again. From the undefinable power of the universal soul, a small fragment took the shape of Brahma for the creation of the universe. Water that came out gradually from Paramatma spread out everywhere. From the vigor of the supersoul, many crores of golden eggs were formed. This Brahmandam, in which we are living, is one among them. When the inside of the egg was filled with gloom, the brilliance of Parameshwara was personified, and he became known with the name Aniruddha. As he illuminated the egg with its magnificent luster, he was termed as Hiranyagarbha, Surya, Savita, and Paramjyoti, and many other names in the Vedas. Sage Bharadwaja conducted the sacrifice of Savitra Kataka Chayanam during Treta Yuga in Pithikapuram. Savitra Kataka Chayanam was addressed to the great splendor of Dattatreya that envelops many millions of universes. In Satyaloka, there is an important place called Niramaya Stan. In 3-tier steps, deities of manes called Vasus, Rudras, and Adityas reside. They act as the guardians of Niramaya Stan. The Karana Brahmaloka is the residential place of the four-faced Brahma. Srinagaram, which is famously known as the Vidya Sthanam and the Mula Prakriti Sthanam, is above it. Above that, Maha Kailas is there, and the Karana Vaikunta is above that. Known as Puranapuram, it is the place of Vidyadhara Stan in Satyaloka. Sadhyas reside in Anjanavatipura of Tapoloka. Sanaka, Sanandana, and other sages live in Ambavatipura of Janaloka. Siddha and other sages live in Jyotishmatipuram of Maharloka. Indra and other deities reside in Amaravatipuram of Swargaloka, called as Suvarloka. The celestial architect Vishwakarma lives in Radhantarapuram of Bhuvarloka, which houses stars and planets of the globe. Grandpapa, there are 2 divisions in Bhuloka. The division inhabited by humans is called Bhugola. There is another one known as Mahabhumi. Mahabhumi is situated at the south of Bhugola, at a distance of 5 crore Brahmanda yojanas. Martya Loka means Bhuloka and Bhuvarloka. This includes Mahabhumi also. Patala means Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. Roughly, these are called Swarga, Marthya, Patala. Mahabhumi is situated below the earth in where we live. It is in the form of a rising circular ground in the middle. Therefore, the illumination from the sun and the moon constantly light the surface of Mahabhumi. As there is always light, there is no determination of time. On this great earth, 7 seas and 7 islands exist. Jambudvipa is situated here only. In the beginning of creation, everything was inundated with water. As Prajapati did penance for commencing creation, a lotus leaf appeared on the water at that time. Prajapati assumed the form of a wild boar and took a dip near the lotus leaf and reached the Mahabhumi. From that Mahabhumi he dug with its sharp tusks and separated some mud and brought that wet mud to the surface of the water. That mud was placed in the lotus leaf. Then it was named as Prithvi, Grandpapa. This is called Earth. The Earth is at a distance of 5 crore Brahmanda yojanas from Mahabhumi. Mahabhumi has an extent of 50 crore yojanas. Jambudvipa, which is in Mahabhumi, has 9 continents in it. Deities reside in Daivakanda. In Garbhasthya-kanda reside spirits. In Bharatakanda reside human beings. In Sarakakanda dwell Siddhas. In Gandharva-kanda dwell Gandharvas 6. In Purushakanda dwell Kinnaras. Demons live in Tamrakanda. Yakshas live in Serukanda. And Panagas live in Indukanda. Southwards to Jambudvipa of Mahabhumi, in Bharatpura of Bharat continent, Vivaswata Manu holds court along with sages of the earth and humans. Just as Jambudvipa exists in Mahabhumi, another Jambudvipa exists on earth. Even before I incarnated in Sri Pitikapuram, the incarnation of Sripada Srivallabha arrived on the Mahabhumi 100 years in advance. The Jambudvipa on Mahabhumi is spread over an extent of 100,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Vivasvata Manu dwells in the Bharat subcontinent of Jambudvipa. Celestials reside in other continents. In Jambudvipa of Mahabhumi, cold and heat would be moderate and pleasant. Mild rays of the sun spread at all times, and there is no difference between day and night. Jambudvipa in Mahabhumi spreads over 100,000 yojanas. The details of the extent of various seas and mountains, etc., are as below. Oceans and islands, and distance. Lavana Ocean, 100,000 yojanas. Plaksha Island, 200,000 yojanas. Ikshu Ocean, 200,000 yojanas. Kusa Island, 400,000 yojanas. Sura Ocean, 400,000 yojanas. Krauncha Island, 800,000 yojanas. Sarpi Ocean, 800,000 yojanas. Saka Continent, 1,600,000 yojanas. Dadi Ocean, 1,600 yojanas. Salmali Continent, 3,200,000 yojanas. Kshira Ocean. Chalachala Mountain, 12,800,000 yojanas. Chakravala Mountain, 25,600,000 yojanas. Loka Loka Mountain, 51,200,000 yojanas. Tamobhumi, 125 million yojanas. The rays of the sun cannot go beyond the Loka Loka Mountain. Therefore, the area between the Loka Loka Mountain and the wall of the universe is always dark. The wall of the universe has a thickness of 1 crore yojanas. The Varaha and Narasimha incarnations were not covering the entire earth. Varaha does not mean pig. It means rhinoceros having 1 tusk. The explanation of islands, the rulers of islands, and the gods responsible for the maintenance of the islands. Whereas Jambudvipa in Mahabhumi was ruled by Swayambhuva Manu as the first emperor, his sons became kings for the other islands. Medatithi ruled Plakshadvipa. 2. Vapushmanta ruled Salmamadvipa. 3. Jyotishmanta ruled Kusadvipa. 4. Dudimanta ruled Kraunchadvipa. 5. Havya ruled Sakadvipa. 6. Savana ruled Pushkara Dvipa as first emperors respectively. 1. In Plakshadvipa, Aryaka, Kurara, Vindaka, and Bhavina are the 4 castes who reside. For them, Vishnu in the shape of a moon is the deity. 2. In Salmali Dvipa, Kapila Varna, Chakravaka Varna, Pita Varna, and Krishna Varna are the 4 castes who reside. They are worshippers of Vishnu. 3. In Kusa Dvipa, Dami, Sushmina, Sneha, and Mandeha are the 4 castes who reside. For them, Brahma is the deity of worship. 4. In Krauncha Dvipa, Pushkara, Pushkala, Danya, and Pisha are the 4 castes who reside. For them, Rudra is the deity of worship. 5. In Saka Dvipa, Manga, Magadha, Manasa, Manda are the 4 castes who reside. They worship the sun god. 6. In Pushkara Dvipa, there are no castes. All are happy like celestials without suffering from any disease and sorrow. For them, Brahma is the deity of worship. In Jambudvipa of our earth, Bharat Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha, Hari Varsha, Ketumala Varsha, Ilavruta Varsha, Bhadraswa Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha, Hiranyakavarsha and Kuruvarsha are there. Grandpapa, just as Jambudvipa with division of continents exists on Mahabhumi, another Jambudvipa with bifurcation of regions exists in Earth's hemisphere. Mahabhumi is round, with an elevated area in the middle like the shell of a tortoise. This is called Bhumandala. The globe of the earth is, however, like a lemon fruit. Mahabhumi encircles Meru Rekha and extends up to the wall of the Brahmanda. The earth is exactly in the middle of the circle of illumination. Jambudvipa lies encircling the line of Meru mountain, which is in the middle of the Mahabhumi. 7 seas and islands are situated around it. On the earth, the northern hemisphere is called the Deva part, and the southern hemisphere is called the Asura part. At the center, which is the equidistant point of the Mahabhumi, is the Meru mountain with a divine glow. It is the habitation of Manus who rule over the humans. Bhugola is the place of humans who are under the rule of Manus. The wheel of illumination is placed on the top of the Chakravala mountain, which is situated around in the Mahabhumi. Bhugola is, however, different from this. The glowing wheel of illumination encircled by the 7 orbits rotates round once in a day. In Mahabhumi, cold, heat, and other climatic changes are less. It is always day there, with no night and no difference in time. It is different in Bhugola. Only on account of the results of righteous acts of merit, one can reach Mahabhumi. Bhugola is the land of action for earning punya. People with gross bodies have to live on earth. In Mahabhumi, small pralayas do not take place. Only the Manu Prayagra take place. In Bhugola Yuga Pralayas, Mahayuga Pralayas and Manu Pralaya happen. Mahabhumi is called Datri and Vidatri. Bhugola is called Mahi, Urvi, Kshiti, Prithivi and Bhumi. Grandpapa, I am now going to tell you about netherworlds. Listen. Ghosts live in Atala, Guyakas live in Vitala, demons live in Sutala, and spirits abound live in Rasatala. Yakshas reside in Talatala, Manes live in Mahatala, and serpents live in Patala. Description of inhabitants of Lokas. Rulers of Lokas and continents. Kubera resides in Vitala. He is the lord of 9 treasures. He is the treasurer for the Brahmanda. He is the ruler of the northern side. His capital is Alakapuri in Vitala. Maya lives in Yoginipura, which is on the western side of Meru, in the same Vitala. He is the architect for demons. He constructed 3 townships, which can go high in the sky, for Tripurasuras. Yamadharma Raja rules Vaivasvatapura in Sutala. He is the lord of the southern side. A river of blazing flame is at the entrance of that town. This is called Vaitarini. People having merits, 5, can cross this river easily, but it is very difficult for sinners. A demon Narudi rules Punyanagar in Rasatala. He is the lord of the southwestern side. Betala with hordes of devils dwells in Danishtapura in Talatala. The husband of Katayani, Isana, lives with all Bhutaganas in Kailasa of Mahatala. He is the ruler of northeast. Sriman Narayana Murthy resides in Vaikuntha Nagaram in Patala. He is here with all his splendor. He lives with the spirits of Patala, Vasuki, and other superior serpents. He rests on the couch of Sesha Nagu 6. This is also called Karya Vaikuntha, situated in Swetadvipa. In the last Patala Loka, there are 3-tier segments. In the first segment, bodiless creatures live. In the second segment, groups of ghosts stay. In the third segment, creatures who take bodies of suffering remain immersed in great misery. 7 seas and 7 islands are in Mahabhumi. In the middle of it, Jambudvipa is situated. That was divided into 9 continents. The continent in the south is called Bharatakanda. Swayambhuva Manu resides in Bharatpura of this continent. Many virtuous people and sages are under the rule of Manu. They administer the worlds and enforce principles of righteousness and unrighteousness. Surrounding the 7 islands on Mahabhumi, mountains called Charachara, Chakravala, and Lokaloka rise up to the Swarga Loka. These are layers which do not allow any light to penetrate through them. Below Mahabhumi, 7 netherworlds exist. They are called Saptapatalas. Atala Loka is inhabited by devils. In Alakapuri of Vitala, Loka Kubera resides. In Yoginipura of Vitala, Loka Maya lives along with demons. In Sutala, Emperor Bali lives with his demon servants. Yamadharma Raja lives in Vaivasvatapura. Sinners suffer their punishments in the various hells here. Punyapura in Rasatala is the seat of Niruti. Here, spirits and similar other categories exist. Betala resides in Danishtapura of Talatala. In Kailasapura of Talatala, Rudra dwells. Mahatala is the seat of mains and forefathers. Swetadvipa Vaikunta is in Patala. Narayana lives here. In the lower portion adjacent to Meru, bodiless creatures, souls of the dead and suffering bodies exist. In a place called Niralamba Suchyagrastan, sinners of heinous crimes find a place. After meals, in the post-water offering, water is offered to these people with chanting of the mantra, Rorave apunya nilaye padmarbude nivasinam ardinam udakam dattam akshyam upatistate. Names of lokas in description of their areas. Please understand clearly that Bugolawan and the Mahabhumi in Buloka are different. Suryaloka shines in Meru Rekha, in the area that extends up to the upper polar star in the upper region above the central point of Bugola. This is the world where the sun god too resides. This is not at all the vicinity of the sun. In the same way, Chandraloka, Angaraka-loka, Buddha-loka, Guru-loka, Sukra-loka, Senechara-loka. The loka of the presiding deity of Rasis, the loka of deity of stars, the loka of 7 sages, and the upper Dhruva-loka exist. Besides these there are many other lokas. Suryaloka is situated 100,003 Brahmanda yojanas from the central point of earth. This is the world where the presiding deity, sun god, lives. The following lokas are situated at distances from the central point of the earth, as shown below. Lokas and distance. Chandraloka, 200,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Angaraka-loka, 300,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Buddha-loka, 500,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Guru-loka, 700,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Sukra-loka, 900,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Sani-loka, 1,100,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Loka of presiding deity of Rasis, 1,200,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Loka of deity of stars, 1,300,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Of the 7 rishis, 1,400,000 Brahmanda yojanas. Dhruva-loka, 1,500,000 Brahmanda yojanas. In the same manner, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, and Satyaloka are situated at various distances from the central point of the earth. The distance between the central point of the earth and the wall encircling the Brahmanda is 240,000, 500,000 Brahmanda yojanas. The distance between the central point of the earth and the outer wall encircling the Brahmanda is 250,000. Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, and Suvarloka are destroyed during the time of Pralaya. Maharloka above Suvarloka is partly destroyed and partly remains. Janaloka, Tapoloka, and Satyaloka are not destroyed till the life of Brahma expires. Swarga comprises of Suvarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka, and the area up to the wall encircling the Brahmanda. Who is Datta? Grandfather Narasavadani, to experience the philosophy of Datta, you will require some lakhs of births. Know that Datta is the only one magnificent, brilliant illumination that spreads over countless millions of Brahmandas and transcends them. Know that the same Lord Datta is actually before you as Sripada Srivallabha. On hearing the kind teaching of Sri Charana, Narasavadani and his wife were astonished, as the young infant boy, aged just 1 year, expatiated so many profound things with authority, and as he proclaimed that he is verily Lord Datta himself, Narasavadani and his wife began to sob. They wanted at least to touch his auspicious feet. Sri Vallabha refused it. Narasavadani and his wife could not move even slightly from the places where they were sitting. Sripada averred, I am Datta. I am the sole phenomenon that pervades millions and millions of universes. Directions are my dress. I am Digambara. Whoever chants Datta Digambara, Sripada Vallabha Digambara, Narasimha Saraswati Digambara with purity of mind, speech, and body, I stay there in subtle form. My maternal grandfather, Sri Bapanaryalu, is providing free boarding and lodging facilities to those who visit Padagaya Chaitra from other places for performing rituals to their mains. You ridiculed such a great person, saying, Where is your Swayambhu Datta? Has he not disappeared? I am that Datta. Whoever stays in that sacred house of my birth will surely turn sacred. Their ancestors will get punya lokas. I am the Lord who has to look to the welfare not only of living beings, but also of dead ones. Both birth and death are equal to me. Nevertheless, you are worrying. Is this the result of adoring Swayambhu Datta? Swayambhu Datta will appear shortly to remove the slander against you. The consecration ceremony will also take place. I am granting you a greater lifespan. Remain in the meditation of Datta. I am assuring you that I will show mercy on you in your next birth. In this birth, you do not have enough merit to enable you to touch my feet. I, who created, protected, and liquidated millions and millions of Brahmandas and the sole monarch of all this creation, bless you with my propitious hand. With a great, terrible sound, the atoms in the body of Sripada disintegrated, and Sripada disappeared. My dear Shankar Bhatt, Sripada had explained the mystery in chanting his name by adding Digambara at the end of the name. His is the nature of omnipresence. It is beyond our comprehension how the formless nature takes shape and incarnates. Where is the end to the sportive plays from his childhood of that Lord of the universe, and who wore a cunning disguise? Thank you for listening till the end. Subscribe for more upcoming chapters.